Whenever you're ready.
My name is Trey Puckett. I'm 34 years old, and I'm opposed to the death penalty because I lost a brother, an innocent brother, to the death penalty. It does not deter crime, it just creates more victims.
How long was your brother on death row?
Nearly 17 years.
And how do you feel now that you've lost him? It's only been, what, a month?
It's been 2 months.
2 months.
2 months yesterday. How do I feel now? Bitter. Angry. Hurt. It'll be one of those things that you don't ever get over. I don't know.
Is there anything you want to say to anybody out there that's going through a similar situation as you?
You just better prepare yourself. Like I said earlier, it's like watching a train wreck and you can't stop it. You fight and fight and fight and fight and fight and think that you're going to win, and in the end you don't. You know, I hate to be so glum about it, but it's just the way it is. You know, don't ever give up. You know, there's always hope. Don't quit. Fight them to the bitter end. You make them sorry they did it to you. But in the back of your mind, you need to be prepared. Prepare yourself for the worst.
Do you want to tell anybody a little bit about your brother Matt? Your favorite memory, maybe, or
my favorite memory. He actually wrote an essay about it. We were in the Scouts together growing up, and he got on stage and did this bit. We would do little skits, you know, for the other troops, and 99% of them were funny. You know, some of them they just weren't funny because they weren't performed properly. But his was funny because he was. The premise was he was walking through the desert and he had to have 3 things to sustain him, and he had a jar of peanut butter was one thing, and I can't remember what the other 2 things were, but he had a jar of peanut butter and a loaf of bread and something else. And he got the smelling bad, so he stripped his shirt off and wrapped it around his head to keep the sweat out of his eyes. So he's standing on stage with no shirt on. So he's going through the motion. He's walking through the desert, and he's just smelling himself, and he can tell that he stinks. So he takes the peanut butter and he uses it as deodorant. So he walks on a little further, and he realizes that he's hungry now, and all he's got left is this loaf of bread, and the bread is too dry to eat by itself. But he's already used all his peanut butter as deodorant, so he takes a slice of bread and he rubs it under his arm like this. He makes him a sandwich, and he eats it right in front of all the Scouts, and everybody just busted out laughing. And it was awesome. That's probably my fondest memory of him. It was hilarious. He did that kind of stuff. He was real outgoing. He wasn't shy. You know. But that's probably my favorite memory. That was pretty awesome.
did you get to tell your brother goodbye?
Yes.
Did you get to hug your brother goodbye?
No.
They wouldn't allow you a contact visit?
No, ma'am. Had not touched him in probably 15 years. Not a handshake, not nothing.
Has your little girl ever been able to meet his uncle?
No.
She was never able to meet her uncle?
No. He got to see pictures of her, but that was it. He never got to hold her. He loved her. I know he did. He thought she was beautiful.
I've been talking to your family, since yesterday, and from what I can tell, Matt really held up well under pressure. Grace under pressure is the term that comes to mind. So he was not the evil, crazed monster that most people portray these guys on death row to be. I mean, you obviously have very good memories of your brother.
That's right. I hear people say nasty things about him, and I just ignore it for the most part, because we've been listening to that for 17 years. But, people that say nasty things about him never knew him. People that say that he's guilty never knew him. Some of the people that say he's guilty know that he was innocent, and they let it happen anyway to further their own agenda, whether it be political or whatever. Those are the people that I resent the most. I shouldn't, but I do. And if I ever had my chance to say what I wanted to say to them, they best make peace with their deeds, because they want to atone for their own sins. They know what they're doing, and God knows what they're doing, and we know what they're doing. They're going to have to answer for it one day.
So, in closing, and I know this, like I've told you before, I hate it when people ask me these kinds of questions, but I'm going to ask you if you could say one last thing to your brother. What would it be?
I probably would say the same thing that I said already. And I told him to stay tough. I didn't have to tell him that, but it made me feel better to tell him that.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
No?
I'm good.
Okay.